You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 23rd of October. Oil prices jump more than 3%. Trump claims India will almost stop buying Russian oil by year-end. Kashmiri diaspora demands justice. Sanctions against Pakistan on Black Day. And gunman kills opposition politician Lasantha Vikramasekara in Sri Lanka. And now for all the details. Amid fresh sanctions, oil prices jumped more than 3% on Thursday, extending gains from the previous session, as Indian buyers started reviewing their Russian oil purchases after the US sanctions. Reports suggest that India is likely to make massive cuts in crude imports from Russia, as Indian refiners are poised to sharply curtail imports following the new sanctions. The US said it was prepared to take further action as it called on Moscow to agree immediately to a ceasefire in its war in Ukraine, informed Reuters. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump, during an interaction with the press in the White House while hosting NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on Wednesday, repeated his claim that India will cut Russian oil imports by almost 40% by the end of the year. Trump said the process of phasing out Russian oil imports will be gradual, claiming that India will bring it down to almost nothing by the end of the year.
India, as you know, has told me they are stop. You know, it's a process. You can't just stop it. But by the end of the year, they'll be down to almost nothing. That's a big thing. There was almost 40% of the oil. India, they've been great. Spoke to Prime Minister Modi yesterday. They've been absolutely great.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced on Thursday that he will not be attending the 47th ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur in person. The Prime Minister will instead participate virtually, ruling out a possible meeting with US President Donald Trump. In a post on X, PM Modi shared that he had a warm conversation with his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim, during which he extended his best wishes for the success of the upcoming summits. The meeting of the leaders of the Southeast Asian grouping will take place in the Malaysian capital from October 26 to 28. It will be attended by all 10 members of the bloc and key trading partners such as China, Japan and the United States. There has been no official confirmation on the trip from Washington. And Kashmiri activists held demonstrations in UK and Belgium on Wednesday to mark Black Day, the 78th anniversary of Pakistan's invasion of parts of Jammu and Kashmir. They demanded international intervention to stop ongoing rights violations in the occupied territories. We have a report.
Leaders of the United Kashmir People's National Party and diaspora groups held protests outside the European Parliament in Brussels and the Pakistani embassy in London on Wednesday, condemning Pakistan's 1947 tribal invasion of Jammu and Kashmir. Marking October 22nd as a day of mourning, demonstrators called the attack a brutal assault that led to mass killings and displacement. They urged Europe to form a fact-finding mission and impose sanctions on Pakistan for ongoing rights violations in PJK. Protesters demanded a demilitarized, self-governed region, free from foreign control, and renewed international focus on Pakistan's decades-long suppression in occupied areas.
हम ये चाहते हैं कि एक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग मिशन जो है वो आज़ाद कश्मीर और गिलगित बल्तिस्तान और होल जम्मू कश्मीर में भेजा जाए ताकि जितनी भी ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन है उनको जो है वो रिकॉर्ड में लाया जाए और उनके ऊपर जो है वो सेक्शन मेजर्स लिए जाएं.
Dr. Amjad Ayub Mirza, a London-based activist from PJK, said October 22nd, still after all these years, residents in the occupied region suffer due to poor health care, lack of rights, and laws forcing candidates to pledge loyalty to Pakistan's two-nation theory. He said people in PJK and Gilgit-Baltistan continue to fight for democracy, dignity, and reunion with their rightful homeland.
Even for a job, you have to sign this affidavit or oath, whatever you want to call it, that you support accession, Kashmir's accession to Pakistan, and you support the ideology of Pakistan. You know, so there are no rights, political rights, there are no civil rights. If you protest, you are shot. The Awami Action Committee took out such big processions to make demands for the curtailment of privileges and perks to the aristocracy, so-called political aristocracy in POJK. And what happened? 13 people were shot dead and they had to call it off.
Moving on. Lasantha Vikramasekara, a politician from the opposition in Sri Lanka, was assassinated after being shot dead in his office on Wednesday. The incident occurred while the 38-year-old council chairman of the coastal city of Veligama was meeting with constituents. A gunman wearing a face mask and carrying a helmet shot him at close range and fled on a motorcycle with another person. CCTV footage released by the police showed. Police said a pistol was used to shoot the chairman and the suspect fled the scene after the attack. Police are conducting a manhunt for the suspect.
Bicycle එකන ගලගේ එක්කෙනෙක් තමයි ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ අතුලට හෙල්මට් එකක් දාගෙන. සමහරතුමා නැති වෙලා.
Moving on. Speaking at the annual Research Review Workshop 2025, Bangladesh interim government's fisheries and livestock advisor Farida Akhtar said, even if India makes a mistake, we won't. She was referring to the differing timelines of the Hilsa fishing bans imposed by Bangladesh and India to protect egg-laying mother Hilsa fish. Local media reported she explained that Bangladesh's scientifically determined Hilsa fishing ban is based on lunar cycles and disagreed with India following a different timeline. Hilsa, the national fish of Bangladesh, is vital to the country's economy and diet. Every year, the government imposes a seasonal fishing ban to protect breeding Hilsa and ensure sustainable stocks. Meanwhile, 8 fishermen from Andhra Pradesh were taken into custody by Bangladeshi authorities on Wednesday morning after allegedly straying into international waters in a fishing boat. Fisheries Department officials said they have informed the State Home Department about the incident. And people across India and Nepal on Thursday celebrated Bhai Dooj, a festival dedicated to the cherished bond of sibling love with prayers, holy dips and rituals. Take a look.
Hundreds of Hindu devotees on Thursday offered prayers and took a holy dip in sacred rivers Yamuna and Saryu to mark the sibling festival of Bhai Dooj, which celebrates the brother-sister bond. On this occasion, sisters apply tilak or vermilion mark on the forehead of their brothers. Legend has it that these rituals were instituted by Yamraj, the Hindu god of death, when he was invited to his sister Yami's house. Yami, also known as Yamuna, offered prayers to Yamraj and in turn he gave her a gift. It is believed that if a woman takes bath in river Yamuna on this day, then Lord Yamraj blesses her brother with a long life.
आज यम द्वितीया है। आज जो भक्तगण दर्शन पूजन करेंगे यमराज जी का, उनको यमराज जी से किसी प्रकार का भय नहीं रहेगा। अर्थात ये भी कह सकते हैं वो पाप से मुक्त हो जाएंगे। यही यहाँ का आज का महिमा है।
Meanwhile, in neighboring Nepal, the spirit of sibling love found its own colorful expression as people celebrated Baitika, the cherished festival that marks the final day of Yam Panchak. For Ramesh Gautam, this year's Baitika was unlike any other. Ramesh, who is from Myanmar, celebrated the festival for the very first time with the family of his grandparents' siblings, a moment that filled him with both joy and nostalgia. Observed on the second lunar day of the Shukla Paksh in the month of Kartik, Baitika is more than a ritual, it's a celebration of the sacred thread that ties brothers and sisters together.
म बर्माबाट आएको यहाँ हजुरबाका परिवारहरुकोमा हजुरबाले नेपाल छोडेर जानुभएको आज 90 वर्षपछि म हजुरबाकै परिवार खानदानमा आएर आज दिवाली मनाउँदै छु। यो दिवाली पर्व चाहिँ हाम्रो पुर्खौंदेखि चलिआएको दाजुभाइले दिदी बहिनीहरुले दाजुभाइको.
And that's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Till then, good night.